Let's also invite Ajay Bodke into our discussion. He's the CEO and Chief Portfolio Manager at Prabhudas Lilladher. Ajay, good morning. You know, the stock of the day that we're going to discuss now is Axis Bank. There is a cleanup of books that the company or the bank has done yesterday, the full impact of the asset quality review of the RBI. So perhaps that could be taken in positive strength. What is your own view on Axis Bank? Of course, Lata did speak exclusively to the management as well. We'll play that bit. But before that, just wanted your take on Axis Bank this morning.
I think I am in full agreement with you. There's been too much of pessimism that some of the corporate-focused banks have been encountering. And Axis, through its results, has clearly shown that instead of waiting for 2 quarters and and letting there be an overhang on the asset quality for the 150 accounts that the RBI had flagged off, the management most proactively went ahead and cleaned up, I think, the provisions necessitated by RBI's identification of those accounts in one go. And 1,000 crore write-off, I think, out of the 2,000 crore slippages is entirely attributed to that. I think the management also has guided that the NIMs will remain more or less steady at around 3.5% in the medium term. The retail book has grown very strongly at around 27%. The corporate book continues to chug along steadily at around 21%. And I think with a strong 18% plus ROE and 1.7 to 1.8% ROA, which the management is confident of maintaining or improving as the cycle improves, I think at 1.9 times adjusted book FY17, I think I don't see much of downside out there. It's become very fashionable to only focus on the retail-focused banks, and that's become consensus trade today. But if one is looking at medium to long term, then I think it is these opportunities when there is fear and panic, which is unfounded to an extent, which offers a good, excellent opportunity for long-term investors to get into quality names like Axis Bank or Yes Bank or even ICICI Bank. So I think, I would be in the camp that would advocate long-term investors to use this opportunity, look at these quality names.
Okay, well, do you think that there will be, I must remind our viewers that it was an extremely rich and enlightening conversation. We will play you much more of what Shikha Sharma told us later on in the show and later on through the trading day as well. Okay, Ajay, do you think that the other private sector banks or other banks in general, even SBI included, have gone into oversold territory? Do you see any of them as buying opportunities?
I think if you take a medium to long-term perspective, Lata, I would say that the banking sector in general, I think offers very good opportunities currently. Obviously, there has been, it's a story of contrasting halves. I think you have a certain retail-focused private sector banks trading at very, very high valuations. And then you have a whole host of corporate-focused private sector banks and some of the public sector banks trading at extremely low valuations. So I think this, at some point in time, I think the investors will have to take a relook. How long can for instance, I fail to see a valuation differential where 70% of market share is equivalent to 6% of market share. So at some point in time, people will start looking at whether there is value in that, in some of those banks in public sector, which even today have a tremendous franchise, and that franchise also needs to be valued. And that's why I feel that there will be value in some of these names.
Okay, I had one more question for you with regards to some of the NBFCs that came out with good numbers this time around, Ajay, whether it was LIC Housing Finance, and yesterday Indiabulls Housing Finance reported a good set of numbers. What's your pick of the lot there?
Yeah, there I think again our view is that some of these NBFCs have extremely agile franchise. We've seen 125 basis point rate cut in the repo, and the bank funding hasn't gone down anywhere close by. It's only 65 to 75 basis points. That's why those franchises which have the agility in terms of moving towards wholesale sources of funding far quickly than some of the more lumberous kind of franchises are the ones that will benefit in this cycle, where we'll see improvement in NIMs immediately. And that's where I think companies like LIC Housing Finance or Indiabulls Housing, or for that matter even the main HDFC Limited come in. So I would say that some of these NBFCs should be looked at in the current panic that one is seeing in the market. The one name that I would like to flag off also is Shriram Transport. which sort of had seen some problems 6 months back. The company is on its way to mend those problems. The CV cycle is doing reasonably well. The price also has come off quite sharply in the current panic. So if one is taking a medium-term view, Shriram Transport also should be a stock you should closely looked at.
Okay, that is positive to hear, Ajay. But, all this is hoping that the global instability or volatility that we have seen in commodities, the global growth scare doesn't take a turn for the worse. Okay, welcome back. The important point is this recovery that you're seeing in Asian markets, and as Sonia pointed out, that's getting buttressed by the Dow futures. And even if you looked at the structure of, say, the Nikkei or the Hang Seng or the Chinese markets, they started low and they put on weight, which is so much better than starting high and finding people selling into that rally. So the structure of the market so far is also a little encouraging. It's slow buying in of support, as it were, which looks a little positive as of now. But Ajay, other results that have come in so far, is there anything that stood out for you and that you would go out and buy now that bargain basement prices are available?
I think we are early in the earnings season, but I think Ultratech Cement's numbers that came in yesterday also particularly stand out. I think as against an expectation of 4% volume growth, the company has posted around 7% volume growth. And the company's commentary has been that the improvement in low-cost housing as well as infrastructure works expected over the medium term makes them positive. The company had seen a very strong 23% EBITDA growth, and the cost cutting also has been quite admirable. So I think that's one sort of stock in the large caps in the large cement space that one should look at from the medium-term perspective. Infosys numbers also obviously were very strong, and that remains as one of the top recommendations with a medium-term perspective for us. I think the current fall has been particularly savage also in case of some of the pharma names, mid-cap pharma names. Results are yet to come. But I think companies like Glenmark Pharmaceuticals and Jubilant Life Sciences, fundamentally, I think the companies are doing very well. In case of Glenmark in particular, I think the slew of ANDA approvals that they are getting should continue in the next financial year also. And we are expecting a strong growth in revenues for the current year and the next financial year. So we have a medium-term price target of 1,186 rupees for Glenmark Pharma. And in case of Jubilant Life Sciences, the turnaround that one saw in the first quarter, which strengthened in the second quarter, should continue in the third quarter also. And there we have a target price of around 570 rupees with a medium-term perspective. And the stock has taken a very savage beating in the last week or 10 days, when fundamentally I think the company is doing very well. So these are the pockets in pharmaceuticals where we are positive on. Cummins in the mid-cap capital goods space also sort of took some walloping a couple of days back. Again, the domestic outlook continues to be strong out there. The exports also are doing quite well. The company has a very strong edge in terms of the markets that it is in. Strong ROEs, ROCEs. So that again offers a good opportunity for entry. In the mid-cap IT space, I think Hexaware again has taken some beating out there, not fundamentally warranted. A strong growth in revenue of around 17% CAGR this year and next financial year expected, and a better earnings growth of around 21% in the current financial year expected for Hexaware. And the stock is trading at around just 11 times FY18 earnings. So that is one space one should look at in the medium term. On the logistics space, which was sort of buzzing quite well, and let's not forget that we're heading into the budget season sort of a month from now. And again, the talk about whether there's a consensus on the GST will come to the fore at some point, and logistics companies will start sort of seeing some action.
Yeah.
So all cargo logistics, I think, is something that one should look at in the medium term.
Okay.
Ajay, you were telling us about some of the big names that you like. Between or among three of these names that came out with really good numbers this time, Asian Paints, Zee Entertainment and Reliance, what would your top pick be?
I think it would be Reliance. Because a lot of capital expenditure the company has incurred on the petrochemical side as well as on the telecom side, which had depressed its return ratios over the last couple of years. And the expectation is that with the imminent launch of the Reliance Jio sometime in March or April, as well as progressive commercialization of the petrochemical projects as we head into the next 12 months. The sweating of those assets will lead to medium-term improvement in the return ratios for the company, and that can be a trigger for a re-rating of the stock. And that's why I think of the three names that you mentioned, I would certainly bet on Reliance Industries.
All right, so that's a bunch of trading strategies to work with. Let's thank Ajay Bodke as well for being with us. Manoj, we have